November 24th, 2001. I'm not sure that this one is actually dated correctly because it seems to be me talking about the day that I met Peter, but maybe I'm just recounting it. So it says, and who knows what my reasoning was at the time. Today was one of those turns in the road that shapes the future. I met a wonderful man and want to tell you about him. Dr. Peter A. Kent, and it gives his email and his phone number, and it says no address listed for this number or the phone number. Age 58. Location, St. Petersburg, Florida, United States. Hair, salt and pepper gray. Eye, hazel. Height, 6'0", 182.9 centimeters. Body type, athletic. Languages, I'll tell you later. Ethnicity, white, Caucasian. Religion, Christian, other. Education, PhD, postdoctoral. Occupation, I'll tell you later. Income, I'll tell you later. Smoker, don't smoke. Drinker, drink socially, occasionally. Status, divorced. Have children, yes, not living at home. Want children, undecided. I'm looking for someone to spend time with on a frequent basis. This is obviously like his Match.com pitch, or maybe his email to me, I don't know. My spirit will know her when we meet. I wish to be captivated by her face and frame. I want to be comforted by her judgment. I want to feel electricity when we touch. I want to see depth in her eyes. I wish for her parents to have blessed her with a good upbringing. I wish that she loved them very much and have a history of warmth from them. I want that she have joy in her heart, confidence on her face, sexuality in her movement, elegance in her serenity. I wish to feel power from her femininity, strength from her reverence. I wish that she be capable of great love, and I hope to be a blend of her character. Me, I have a child's heart, but the strength of many men. I have the character of experience and faith from many endeavors. I have ability to see the big picture. I am a deep thinker. I have cried when reciting the Pledge of Allegiance, yet I can muster courage in an instant. I pursue growth on a daily basis. I have a Renaissance outlook. I wish to leave a mark that will benefit humanity. In this, I am in development. I have been blessed by God with the power to help. I love the very young, the very old, and the ill. I have great joy, kindness, and sensitivity within. I wish to know love again. And then this is my letter to Peter saying, Dear Peter Kent, you make time for what is important. I was so impressed with your profile that I wondered if you wrote it for yourself or if you hired a marketing guru. I like that you spoke of things that are important, such as the relationships we have with our family. I have been exceedingly blessed with a wonderful family. My father was self-employed most of his life, and when he retired, he came here to Easy Street to help me out by building the most incredible cages, complete with waterfalls, ponds, and lots of things for a busy cat to do. He's been working here since 1996. My mother was a legal secretary and then a personnel manager for a large company for 19 years. I kept trying to hire her away, but her loyalty was to her company until there was a huge split in the company that left her working for the wrong boss. She then agreed to come work in my real estate business in 1998, and she makes my life so much easier now. I can count on her good judgment, and she treats the business like it was her own, so that gives me peace of mind that I didn't have for the first 15 years of my business. Your description of your desire to make a difference and the knowledge that it is God who guides us through gives me confidence that you are the kind of man I would like very much to know. For the cats, Carol. Email back from Peter to me. Carol, I wish to spend some time answering your considerate note. Somehow, after moving here 3 days ago, I thought today was Wednesday. I am not that intense that I lose days, but I have been busy and juggling ideas in my head. It is somewhat of a surprise to me that I could or would do that. I am laughing at myself somewhat. That's another thing that makes me think this is not the right day because November 24th was Saturday, and he's saying it was Wednesday. Your description tells me a little about you. Mine is somewhat void of who I am, more of what I want. I feel that who we are comes out in being together. I do not mean to say that I will be saying who I am, more of where I am. Yes, I wrote that little bio. I am a rather good writer at times. One of the things I wish to do is write something worthwhile regarding health. It will be in one of two areas regarding health, maybe both in separate works. I am about three things professionally: a builder, a physician, and I have been a professional pilot. I did that first in my life. Since I was a small child, I wanted to fly airplanes. I love the extravagance of travel in a moment's notice. I have owned 9 aircraft, but I do not own one now, and I still think about building one or two of the more extravagant home builds, an industry that has taken over the small aircraft field. There are some exceptional ones. Flying an aircraft or the fire in my life from when I was a small boy. I have 2 degrees in aerospace engineering, 8,760 hours of flight experience, and an aircraft mechanic's license. Flying is something I have placed on the back burner in my to-do book. While it used to be very exciting for me, it pales compared to more important projects. What truly propels me in recent years is something Nelson Mandela stated some time back. It is our light, not our darkness, that frightens us. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, and fabulous? Actually, who are we not to be? You are a child of God. Your playing small doesn't serve the world. I had been a doer and a shaker much of my life. Some years back, something happened that made me go inward, to look hard and long at who I was versus who I thought I was. I played small during this time. I will tell you more about things I want to do and how I will serve in a moment. First, I wish to tell you something else that is a big part of me. The rest of the story, as the man says. I have spent a great deal of passion thinking over God and what God is. I have felt a tragedy that shook my very foundation and made me wonder more then about the subject and what I should do about it. I stopped my productive life and went to Bible school in Ohio. This was not a work of God by any means. I turned out to be a disaster. I'm not sure if he meant to say that. However, a tremendous learning experience in retrospect. What I have learned is one must come to terms about God and what he is on his own. It is not a matter of follow the leader, following the most charismatic preacher and his interpretation of the Bible, rather strongly coming to terms with what you believe and read the Bible for the joy and the truth within. I have been a chiropractor for 2 of the most charismatic preachers in the central and southeastern U.S. I have come to know spirit, not from them, but on my own. I know spirit, and spirit has certain laws. One is truth, and the second is faith. Faith is our direct link to universal wisdom, reminding us that we know more, that we know more, that we have heard or read or studied, that we have only to look, listen, and trust the love and wisdom of the universal spirit working through us all. Faith dares to go further than it can see. Faith is the recognition that spirit works in, as, and through us, all of us, through every person and every circumstance. Faith is also an attitude that whatever happens serves the higher good, despite the appearances to the contrary. What if you suddenly knew with certainty that a higher intelligence was working through you and everyone else for the higher good of humanity, that there is indeed a purpose for every pleasure and hardship? As you live in the light of this law, it will transform your perception and experience of the world. You'll begin to see every difficulty as a test in order to instruct you. You'll find lessons and opportunities in every challenge. Faith is the opposite of reason. Applying the law of faith is one of the most practical, reasonable, constructive things you can do to have an inspired life. As one of nature's most delicate and vulnerable life forms, a flower's life is short and tenuous. A careless footfall, a dry winter, or pounding rain can make a life and death difference to a delicate blossom, and yet each morning it opens wide. Flowers have so much to teach us about faith. When you cultivate the garden of faith in your own life, you will, like this flower, come alive in a new way. Faith is not a commodity that you own or possess. It is the divine order that pervades all things, the light behind your eyes, the loving and mysterious intelligence that emanates from the center of creation. Listen to that intuitive wisdom of your heart. where spirit speaks. So many people rely on books, teachers, scientists, psychics, oracles, or others to advise them or direct them or to validate their views. Teachers and books have their value, and sources of guidance and inspiration may enter your life in different forms, but never forget the treasure is already inside you. Others cannot give you anything you don't already have. They can only provide keys to your own inner wealth. So, listen well to those who speak from experience and embrace wisdom where you find it, but always weigh external guidance against the wisdom of your own heart. Faith is assuming that you always make the right choice. Self-trust develops naturally from your own direct experience. You learn to trust your body's instincts, your heart's intuitions, and your mind's ability to access the universal intelligence. Like water, higher wisdom doesn't come as much from your brain as through it. You aren't a vessel. You aren't a vessel to be filled with facts. You're more like a radio receiver tuned to the universal intelligence operating throughout creation. All you have to do is listen and trust. Faith means living with uncertainty, feeling your way through life, letting your heart guide you like a lantern in the dark. There is no absolute security except in absolute faith. This doesn't mean that all circumstances will go your way, or that divine justice is operating every time you injure or heal yourself. All sorts of events, both beautiful and terrible, can happen in this world. Our small mind cannot always see the bigger picture or know what it is for our highest good. So, despite the confusion and insecurity of life, when you can learn to live on faith, like the flower, trusting spirit working according to a higher will beyond the reach of your mind, you'll see spirit operating everywhere, in everyone, and everything. Faith involves the willingness to stretch yourself, make mistakes, and learn from them. In other words, to trust the process of your life. The more you trust spirit in this way, the more you will work with it directly as a living force in your life. If you combine these strong truths with what Mandela stated, you have the confidence to do something worthwhile. I have 7 college degrees, not because I wish to be a perpetual student, but rather because I searched for knowledge to change me for the better. I worked full-time each time I was in college, this last time as a builder. I built a church and a school in New Mexico over the past few years while going through a master's program in Oriental medicine. Why I did that is another story. However, I am glad that I did. I once was at a place where money and things were what I wanted for my family and myself. I was making $50,000 per month in a personal injury practice as an orthopedist in Orlando, and then my daughter shot herself. Let me say that was a life-changing event, one that I am just now getting over. One does a lot of soul searching over something like that. I gave up everything, and I looked for God, but God is not in most men. Most men are actors. I am at a place now in life where I am back on course, willing to begin again and make a difference. I have 3 very large things to do. 1 is huge, 2 are very necessary. I have high compassion, lots of courage, and high intelligence. I wish to change a couple of things done, as wrong as they could be, currently in medicine. 1 is breast screening. Mammography is flat wrong and unhealthy. The second is the concept of the common cold. People are taught that we get ill from something external and that we need to counteract it with something to kill the foreign invader. Some years ago, about 190 years I think, we adopted the germ theory of disease. There was another theory at the same time, that germs were not the cause of disease, rather the result of disease. I wish to show how, with proper guidance, this is the way small disease should be handled. I can do that with the common cold, for which I will have to write a book and have a website with the armamentum to cure. I don't even know what that word means. The book is in my head. There are 4 stages of the common cold, none of them which should be handled with antibiotics. Lastly, I have been working on an idea for the layperson to handle small disease, the kind where the doctor says, wait for it to get worse before we can do something about it. I wish to make a non-prescription herbal product from around the world, mostly from China, available on a website that is run by software that quantifies energetic changes in the body before the germ shows up. I am currently doing this and have met with the FDA to know how to do it. It needs only a slight bit more money infusion. It will not be long now. This is the biggest deal I am working on. It steps into the medical legal arena. I have done my homework here. Currently, I work as a building contractor. I have an ad in the paper, believe it or not, the house doctor. I take only smaller gravy jobs. I have 3 doctorate degrees. Between being a professional pilot and going to chiropractic school in 1978, I was a builder of homes mostly. I got one in Better Homes and Gardens in 1978 in Ormond Beach. My biggest commercial project was the UPS building in Daytona Beach. I built over 130 homes in years past and am requalifying with the state of Florida in December. Like you, I am busy. Unlike you, I am resettling. I am on fire with the things above, passionate to leave something worthwhile behind. I appreciate who you are and compliment you on your success and your upbringing. My best regards to your mom and dad. One of my favorite words is serendipity. I am glad to have made your acquaintance. It would be nice to walk quietly with you. Peter Kent.